Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another election prediction. This time we have President Joe Biden up against former President Donald Trump. This is the November 2023 edition of this election prediction. That's probably the most likely matchup at this point. Both parties are sticking behind their nominees, and let's get right into it. So, again, I think Trump has definitely increased his margin by quite a bit as of recently, so I definitely think he'll be gaining a lot of momentum. But as I'm just setting up these safe states, if you aren't subscribed already, I'd highly recommend doing so. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. I think we could hit it. But other than that, let's get right back to this video. So the first few states, let's rank Iowa as a safe Republican state. At this point, I think Trump's easily winning it by over 10 points. I just don't see how Biden even bothers campaigning in here either. I think he's just going to give up on this state as he should. It's just unwinnable for Democrats anymore. The white voters here have just shifted against them so much over time. Nebraska's second, however. I think this is a district that's very much in their favor. Just a lot of Democratic trends here long term. In Colorado, it's a progressive state. It's definitely going to be an easy win for Joe Biden. Easily going to carry it by over 10 points. It's pretty much transitioned into a safe blue state at this point. Maine at large, I still think it'll go to Biden by over 10. Again, the polls have been pretty favorable for him here. Trump's just doing pretty bad here, but in Maine second, I think this district's pretty much going to stick with Trump by a likely margin or so. Okay. In Ohio, I think Trump's going to win by 9 points. It could be an over 10% victory. For now, I'm being safe by keeping it in the likely column for now. In Florida, it's just getting bleak for Democrats here. Republicans just keep gaining more and more voters and their registration numbers. It's getting quite bad for Democrats to keep losing voters here to just Florida's registering efforts. And it's because of Cuban voters, really, and just other Latino voters in Florida that the Republican Party is just gaining more and more voters here just because of them swapping to their party. They're just beating the Democrats in the ground game here. So I have this state as a likely Republican state. I think Trump wins it by about 8 points. That much of a shift from 2020, where Trump won by about 3.4 in Florida. In Texas, I'm very close to just ranking it as a likely Republican state at this point, but I'm going to be cautious. I'm going to say that it's probably going to happen with the Democratic trends here in the urban areas. Biden does a bit better than he did in 2020, which is why I'm having it as a Trump 4.5% victory. It's probably teetering on that likely status, though. I'm just waiting to see more polls out of this state before I make a shift like that, but 4.5% Republican victory is what I see happening in Texas. Alaska, I don't think it's going to be a safe Republican victory. A lot of polls have showed it be a bit closer. I think Trump's going to only win the state by about 9.5%, so just below that 10% margin. So I'm going to keep it as a likely Republican state. New Mexico and Virginia polls have pretty much shifted both these races to under 10%, so both likely blue states for now. New Hampshire as well. I highly doubt it's going to be lean blue. I'm putting it as a likely blue state. This swing state just has a hatred of Donald Trump. Trump just doesn't do well with independents here, and Biden's probably going to easily win it against him. Okay. Minnesota, again, it's a likely blue state. I don't think it's going to go to lean blue, honestly. Again, I don't think Trump's going to be able to make enough shifts here to make it more competitive, but I could see Trump maybe shaving off the margin a bit from Biden, but Biden's still going to win here by a likely blue margin regardless. In North Carolina and Georgia, North Carolina, I think Trump's pretty much solidified it as a lean Republican state for now. It could shift to tilt if Biden starts doing better on the polls, but right now, with him underperforming in the national environment, I think Trump's probably going to win North Carolina by about 2 points against Joe Biden as of right now. And in Georgia as well, I see him flipping it just because Biden's not doing as well with black voters as he was before in the polls. A lot of them are undecideds or just not willing to vote as much. So I have this state as a tilt Republican state, and just a lot of the polls actually show Trump actually narrowly winning Georgia as of right now. He's just doing better than Biden with independent voters and just lower black turnout overall in the state. In Arizona and Nevada. Again, polls actually show Trump doing a lot better in Arizona than I expected. But then again, I just think the independent voters here are still going to back Biden over Trump. So that's why I still have Arizona going as a tilt blue state against Donald Trump. And Nevada as well. Again, Nevada polls, they just underestimate Democrats pretty much every election cycle. I don't know why it is. It's just a rule about Nevada that we just got to follow now. It usually just underestimates Democrats, the polls here. But again, I think Biden's probably going to win Nevada by a tilt blue margin, pretty much the same margin as Arizona. And now we're down to the real swing states of the 2024 election: Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Again, I think the election pretty much hinges on Pennsylvania's election result. I really think that's the state that decides who wins. But we'll start off with Wisconsin first. I think Trump's actually going to narrowly flip this state back. So Trump just has to grab one of Michigan or Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is probably a lot more likely. But as of right now, I just think he'll flip Wisconsin just because he'll do slightly better with independent voters, and he's doing a lot better in general, the general election, basically. General election polls, he's pretty much neck and neck with Joe Biden. But we have to factor in incumbency advantage, so Biden's probably going to win the popular vote by about 2.5% against Donald Trump as of right now. But then again, if he's only winning by 2.5, he's probably losing narrowly in Wisconsin, which is why I have it as a tilt GOP state. In Michigan, Biden's not leading as much as he would like to, which is why I'm only putting Michigan as a tilt blue state for now. I think it'll be quite narrow at this point. And Pennsylvania, the state that decides it all. Again, Trump's approval rating here is, or no, his favorability rating, because he's not currently president, but his favorability rating, again, it's still worse than Joe Biden. It's still just like 5 points worse. He just does worse with independent voters overall. And recently, in a Pennsylvania poll with a Republican pollster, it shows Biden still up by a tilt blue margin. And just based off 2022, where Trump's candidates lost by a lot here, I still think this state's Democratic leaning. Until I see a lot of polls showing Trump up here, I'm just going to assume Biden's still currently leading by a narrow margin in Pennsylvania. Just because of his lower favorability numbers than Joe Biden in the state. That's currently how I see it. But Trump has a much more easier path of victory than he used to. All he has to do is literally flip Arizona, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, and he could totally win. So, if I were to place odds as of who I think would win right now, I would put Biden at 58% chance of victory, while Trump's at a 42% chance of victory. That's almost a coin flip. So, Trump's very much in this. He could definitely win. But as of right now, I just think Biden would have a slight edge in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada just because of independent voters and just Trump's lower favorability rating overall. But again, I just think Biden's just going to narrowly edge out Donald Trump. So if you disagree with any of my state predictions, let me know in the comments below. If you have any other like video recommendation ideas, let me know. But other than that, I'd highly recommend subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. But yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.